everyone. Welcome to another great episode of HACtv. This time we have a brand new pilot showcase with one of the great 3D pilots. You see him at every helicopter event. Everybody show your love for Mr. MARC FEDOROFF. What's up, Mark?
How you doing this morning?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
Good. I'm glad you took a moment out to sit with us, chit chat.
I appreciate you taking the time with me.
Absolutely. We want to know a little bit more about Mark.
Okay.
And what Mark is up to these days. So, Mark, tell me something. How did it start? How did it start from the beginning? How did you get into RC helicopters?
I started with RC cars. My first hobby quality RC car when I was 13. Did that for a few years. Started flying airplanes when I was 18. A year later got into helicopters. Never looked back.
Nice.
It's been helis ever since.
And so that addiction just continued to grow and grow.
Yep.
And, you know.
If I could do it 5 days a week, I would.
Awesome. What was it like in the beginning flying helicopters? Did you crash a lot?
I did not crash a single time learning the basics of just hovering.
Nice.
I was into forward flight before I had my first crash.
Sweet.
Which was pit crew error. Didn't put enough fuel in the model.
Oh,
It happens to be me, but it wasn't pure pilot error.
Would you lend that to the fact that you flew RC airplanes? That forward flight was kind of
yes. The airplane flying helped a lot with forward flight. It's very similar.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So moving from like a sport flying mode to 3D mode, what was that like? How did you get into 3D?
I don't remember exactly how I got into it. Heading hole gyros was a big help. I remember doing my first backwards loop and backwards roll before heading hole gyros existed.
Oh wow! Okay.
And once they came into the mainstream, 3D became a lot easier.
Nice. Okay. Let's think about some other 3D moves. So, hold on, because I've seen you fly now, and you got this signature move, the MARC FEDOROFF move, but we gave it some crazy long name. What do we call this?
We don't really have a name for it. We're going to have to work on that.
Yeah. Describe this move.
I got two, but the one you're talking about is I'll come backwards, upright, across the field fast, give it a quarter roll to the right to knife edge, and then it's kind of like a 3/4 pirouette, but there's a rolling motion in there also, and you punch out with full negative with the tail pointing down.
Nice, that's hot.
People like that.
Okay.
You know, you have your signature move. We all know about it. We've all seen it. And pretty much when everyone sees it, they lose their mind because no one's ever thought of this move. It's simple, it's effective, but it's a crowd pleaser. Now, word on the street is that this maneuver was done way before you came onto the scene. And this guy's name is...
No, it's the other way around.
Okay. So this is your move.
Bobby Watts copied me.
Bobby Watts.
Nice. Bobby Watts.
I do have to give him credit. He was a big influence on me. I will credit him as being one of the ones to start the whole smack flying.
Okay.
If you go back to, I think it's an IRCHA video, I know it's an IRCHA video, 2007, 2008 or so, when he was flying a miniature aircraft Stratus. Awesome flight. He did crash towards the end, but in my mind, he kind of invented smack.
Nice.
Where, if you ask me, what it kind of consists of a little bit, the change I saw was, if you want to come back lower towards the ground, you don't do it gradually.
Gotcha.
You do it aggressively.
Right.
So like if you're inverted and you're too high, you give positive pitch and you slam it towards the ground. You watch the flying, that's what kind of started the smack.
Nice. Very cool.
So a lot of knife edge stuff and quarter rolls and quarter flips, which is a lot of what I do. But Bobby Watts stole that from me.
Well, you know what? Speaking of pilots that inspired you, who's some of the other greats out there that inspired you as you were coming up in the hobby?
A name that may not be known because he doesn't fly anymore, because I've been doing this for 27 years now.
Yeah.
Ray St. Onge. Way back, he flew for miniature aircraft.
Okay.
Back along with Mike Swift. And back then is when I was getting started with those guys flying.
Okay.
Curtis Youngblood.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was your bird of choice back then?
I started with a Hirobo Shuttle ZXX. That was my first machine.
Okay.
I then got into Hirobos and Kyoshos for a while. I had a whole bunch of each brand. I flew miniature aircraft for about 10 years. Flew a line for about 9 years. And then last several years been flying SAB.
SAB.
Yep.
How would you say those models kind of compare? Or did they did they evolve from one set
There's
to
no
the next?
comparison to what we have today to what we had back then.
Gotcha.
Back then, the machines, the rigidity of the frames, the dampening, the head speeds, it was nothing like we're running today.
Yeah.
Back, the first machine, wood blades.
Yeah.
You had to glue in the epoxy weight. You had epoxy in the lead weight.
I remember
Cover
that.
the blade.
Yep.
Remove the covering by the root. Glue on the root. Balance them.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. Nowadays, buy a set of carbon blades, bolt them on and go. And all the machines I had in the past, I could break them on demand. I knew what in flight the machines could not take. The stuff nowadays, it's so strong, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
the machines have come a long way.
Absolutely. Where do you see the future of RC helicopters going? You see the technology getting better, pilots getting better.
Always. Every day, the flying has stepped up a level. Guys fly faster and harder and lower.
Yeah.
And again, it's because the helis have gotten better, the gyros have gotten better. And I've noticed this too. You'll get a new gyro, and you say, this thing flies amazing. How can it possibly get any better?
Yeah.
And the next one comes out, it's better. And the next one comes out, it's better.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I see it being a lot of small increases. I think it's getting kind of hard to make something revolutionary.
Yeah.
I think SAB does do that. That's why I do like their products.
Yeah.
But for a while there, it was, how different can a helicopter be made?
Quick question. So you are on what team exactly?
I'm on the SAB factory team and also Switch rotor blades, X-Nova motors, and Pulse batteries.
Wow. So you're an actual team pilot for SAB.
Yes, I am.
That is huge because most guys that fly SAB or something like that, they're like it's attached to a store or some.
Right.
But to be direct is a huge deal.
Yeah, a couple years ago I got on the factory team, and it's not only about you flying. I'm not a Kyle Stacy,
Right.
but it's about helping people,
Right.
about personality, about your knowledge,
Absolutely.
promoting the product, being loyal to the brand, stuff like that.
I was flying B-Bar, of course, before Futaba.
Yep.
And when you go from one system of transmitter, receiver, flybar unit and going to another, the learning curve can be frustrating sometimes. You were a huge help with me with the Futaba system. I would call you and say, "What is this? Where is this? What do I do now?" So you were really there, and it led me to ask more questions about your love for Futaba. So you said you had started with Futaba, and you've been with Futaba ever since.
Well, I've been using it ever since.
Right.
So my first RC car when I was 13 was a Futaba radio.
What car model was this?
It was a Kyosho Double Dare. It was a four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering, dual motor truck.
Yep.
I started with that with the Futaba 2-stick, 75 megahertz AM radio, and I've been using Futaba ever since.
So are there any other Futaba? So you're on SAB team. When you go to a fun fly, I'm sure you see other SAB team members there.
Yes.
How many of them fly Futaba with you?
0.
So you're the only Futaba guy basically in your whole group of
Amongst
friends.
the SAB factory team pilots in the States here, to my knowledge, I am literally the only one who flies Futaba.
Okay, so another question. Your home field. Is there anyone there who's a Futaba rep?
No, nobody.
So you stay, you're in New York or New Jersey?
I'm in New York. I'm in Long Island.
Okay, Long Island, New York. You are the only Futaba user there.
I'm not the only user, but there's very few.
Very few.
Yep.
And you know these guys, and you probably talk them into going to Futaba.
It's funny you say that. One of my home club's members and friends, not too long ago, bought a Goblin Raw, and he was deciding what electronics to buy. And I suggested a CGY 760R and the 16 IZ.
Nice.
And that's what he bought, and I helped him set it up, and he loves it.
Yeah. So have you ever set up a V-bar unit before?
Not from start to finish, but I have helped plenty of people with V-bars, and I learned enough to fiddle my way through it to help people.
Right.
And so I've flown them a bunch, but obviously never owned my own or set up my own from start to finish.
Awesome. Okay. You have any more other questions?
Yeah, no, that's good you mentioned that because I was a prior V-Bar owner, and so I got into precision flying F3C and flew with it to start. But what I learned at the field from some of the F3C masters, so to speak, right, was that you're gonna find yourself limited to some of the settings you can put into your bird, right? You want to be able to fine tune that thing, and Futaba is going to give you that. I think the software is second to none. It allows you to set dual rates on each servo. You can't really do that with a lot of other systems. So, that was one of my big reasons why I switched over to Futaba 2, and I love it. So
my main thing is I like the way it flies.
Yeah.
Quite simply.
Yeah.
I've flown a lot of other stuff, a lot of people's V-bars, Icons, B-Stecks. I'm sure I'm leaving other ones out.
Yeah.
And nothing flies as well as the Futaba stuff. Simply put,
right.
It just works. I use stuff that I like because it works.
Right. And I want to jump into here. I mean, and this is not like a Futaba commercial. We're not making this a Futaba commercial. All three of us just happen to fly Futaba. However, going from a V-bar to a 32MZ 760R combo, I noticed right off the bat, first flight, that my tail was locked out of the box. There was no having to go on the parameters, do this. It pirouetted the exact same way, both ways. It stopped where it wanted to stop. There was no bounce back. And it was pretty simple. The thing that I tell people, if you're going from another unit to Futaba, is give yourself some time. Don't try to think you're going to know the radio system overnight. It's going to be, totally easy. It's once you understand the system, it is very easy. And it's cool because it gives you flexibility. You can, I called you one day about a gyro and you were like, oh, I do mine this way. I'm like, oh, Dr. Ben does this way. He was like, dude, it's like 8 ways to do something. And it's very set up for your preference of flying.
Right. Regarding the tail, you're right. That is where I noticed the biggest difference compared to other gyros is it just works. The stops are super crisp, no bounce, and that's what I like. Other brands stop softer, which if you get used to it, you get used to it. But I like it crisp. So like you said, you set your pirouette rate in degrees per second, a real number. You adjust your gain, and that's it. And as far as the rest of the setup, it sometimes gets a bad rep for being complicated. I don't think it is. I've been using it for so long, so I know it. But besides that, just maybe the terminology is a little different. V-bar calls it agility.
Right.
Futaba calls it cyclic rate.
Right.
Two different names for the exact same thing.
So being a Team SAB factory pilot, right? And they've had the kind of the modularized fuselage style in the Kraken and the Goblin series. The Raw came out and just really set this whole new bar for SAB.
Yep.
What was that transition like, going from the Kraken style to this new pod and boom?
For me, it was fabulous.
Yeah.
I loved it. I'll be honest, when I first saw a picture of the Raw, I thought it was disgusting. And then I got one. I got one of the pre-releases of the 700 Raw Electric, one of the first ones.
Sweet.
And I gotta tell you, when you see it in person, pictures do not do it justice. I think it's hot looking.
Yeah.
The outline, the profile shape of that canopy and the frames and the stickers and the way Enrico did it, it just looks amazing. And then simplicity. I generally take my time building a new helicopter. I enjoy building. I like building and wrenching as much as flying. So I don't want to rush through it, because how many times do you get to build something new? Only once. So I took my time and I finished it in 3 evenings. So it's a very simple machine. Another big thing for me was I don't like taking canopies off all the time. So you see them blow off the table, you see people step on them and all sorts of stuff. So being primarily a nitro guy my entire hobby career, where the canopy stayed on for the most part, way back in the day, it was bolted on. Yeah. We regular cap screws held it on. You ran a charge lead hanging out the bottom because you were charging your NICAD receiver pack in the model, so the canopy hardly ever came off.
Right.
So when I saw the Raw with the canopy that stayed on all the time, that was a huge selling point for me.
Nice.
And then true simplicity. Compared to other models where, for example, to get a boom off and the boom mounting stuff, it's literally 14, 15 bolts. The Raw boom comes off 2 bolts and 1 ball link, and the tail boom is off. It's just so simple.
That's awesome.
And again, you can't break it. I could do anything I want with it without any fears of breaking it in flight.
Oh, in flight. I was like,
flight.
yeah, because I've totally, because I said, dude, I have demolished a Raw before.
I've seen some stuff happen. Yeah.
Right.
But like I said earlier about some previous models I had, there were certain maneuvers I knew if I did XYZ, I'm blowing it up.
Yep.
And with the SAB stuff, do whatever you want.
Yeah, they're tanks now. I remember when we were flying the JR Vigors. You remember those?
I had one of those. I had a JR Vigor CS.
Yes.
And first flight, 540 stall turn, strip the crown gear.
Yep.
And no matter what you did, you could not get it to stop doing that.
Yeah, and we would tailboom a tailboom strike all the time.
I didn't have a problem with boom strikes, but just that's what I was talking about. You know, certain designs back in the day, no matter what you did, they just mechanically were not as strong as they are today.
Right.
There were either parts that would fail in certain moves, or just pure stress. You would just tear the thing apart.
So the Raw has had several different variations of it now. I think we're up to is it the Puma?
The Puma.
The Puma.
Yep.
Which is great, lightweight.
Yep.
I have a friend back home, Nick Wisdom. He loves light helicopters, so he's looking so forward to getting his and putting it in the sky. So, but you got to tell us. You got to break some secrets, Mark. You got to tell us one little secret. Okay, so the Raw kind of brought some new technology, new revolutionary stuff to the SAB line. What's next?
I can't tell you that.
Oh!
I can neither confirm nor deny what I might know about coming in the future.
Okay.
But there's always good products in the pipeline. That I can promise you.
Fair enough.
Enrico never stops thinking. Yeah. There are more products coming out. Can't say what.
Absolutely.
But they're going to be pretty awesome.
So you saying you do have information you cannot share?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Damn! Nothing?
Nothing. Sorry.
Okay.
My lips are sealed.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Awesome.
So
I will never violate the trust of my teams.
Nah, I get it. 100%. 100%.
Absolutely.
So I have a quick list of questions.
Sure.
These are choice questions.
Okay.
So you get to say either one, whatever one you prefer.
Okay.
All right. So just cat or dog.
Can I say neither?
You can,
All right,
but
I'll put it to you. I am super allergic to both.
oh no.
However, dogs love me. They will not stay away from me.
Gotcha. Hot dog or hamburger?
Both, but hamburger.
Hamburger number one. Okay.
Hamburger's number one.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Wear a strap or strapless with your radio?
No strap. I'm a no neck strap guy from day one, and I'm a thumber.
All complete thumber?
Yeah. I've tried pinching, I've tried hybrid stuff, and never. I guess it goes back to what you start with.
Right.
There's all sorts of stuff with learning about what you learned first, and that's what kind of sticks with you. It's probably back to day one. Yeah. When I had my RC car and the first radio was a 2-stick, I didn't know any better, so you picked it up and you use your thumbs.
There you go.
So I've just always been a thumber with no neck strap.
Shoes or sandals?
Oh, shoes. You can't have exposed feet.
Well, there's several guys at the Fun Fly right now, either with no shoes on or sandals with their toes out.
Those guys are nuts. And I'll tell them that to their face.
Sure. Absolutely. Any more questions?
No, I'm good on questions.
Okay, so we've sat down with Marc Fedoroff of SAB Team Goblin pilot. How should you say it? SAB Goblin?
SAB factory team. Or the brand?
Well, the brand, your title. Give me the brand and your title.
The team is the SAB factory team.
Boom.
That wraps it up. Another episode of HACtv Pilot Showcase. Again, Mr. Marc Fedoroff, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, brother.
Woo!
Appreciate your time.
I'll see you at the field, baby.
Yep.
Boom.
Spring Fling 2022. Boom. Got it.
Nice.
That's good.
That was awesome, dude.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I know you're a little nervous, but you didn't look like it. What's the first question?
Once we got going, it was good.
Oh, chit chat, dude. But see, that's how it is. It's like we want to. We want it to be fun.
Yeah,
we want it to be natural because we always kick it at the field and
Right.
we laugh and have a great time.
Laugh our ass off, rip into each other, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Absolutely, especially our friends.
Yeah.
So Mikkel isn't here this Fun Fly, so you can't talk crap about him. But
I'll pick on him.
right.
Dude, our little group, our little heli group on WhatsApp, it's about, 15 of us in there.
Yeah, it's
We
insane.
talk about everything but helicopters.
That's what.
And then one person is always like butt of all the jokes, and then everybody gangs up on that person.
Yes.
And then we switch it to another person, and then it's on me, and then it's on him. It's just like it just.
Well, that's what a day in the local field is. It's like a constant roast.
Yeah.
If you're
Yes.
roasting everybody
Absolutely.
and making them feel as bad as possible, and then when you're all done, you're like, we're friends.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It means
That's
love.
how you can tell your friends. When
Right.
you're gonna rip into them,
Yeah.
and like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's your friend.
Yeah.
But the people who like you're quiet with,
it's like
those are not your friends.
Nah, you can't. I gotta feel them.
You gotta be careful, you know.
Yeah, say some crazy stuff, they'll get offended.
Yep.
All right.
That was good.
Yeah. So nothing else, huh? Nothing else, Brian.
That's it. And then we'll put some flights on the end of that thing, and
Yeah. So I'll be catching you.
I'm gonna go back to my room and wrench a little.
Well, so we got this vertical drag race challenge coming up.
Yep.
Who will you be competing against?
Steve Yoon, another SAB factory team pilot.
Okay.
Steve Yoon, everyone. Team SAB, YGE, Eagle Drift, Theta Servos, here to represent. He is no joke. He does not mess around. He is serious about his business.
I am not serious about anything.
He is not serious about anything. He just wants to have fun. So, Steve, you have a podcast. What is the name of the podcast?
Free for RC Podcast.
Say it one more time.
Free for RC Podcast.
That's right. Okay. You're here today and you have a friend. His name is?
MARC FEDOROFF.
All right. Okay.
We're going to do a little vertical drag race, just 5 seconds. See
Okay.
who climbs higher.
All right.
And Steve's 580 is unavailable.
He crashed it yesterday,
I
so.
was trying to be nice.
Okay.
So I told him bring out whatever you got.
Whatever he has.
Whatever he has.
Okay.
So
What are you flying with today?
So I have my orange creamsicle raw.
Okay.
Setup.
All right.
It is not the original thing we did agree on, but we're gonna have fun with it anyway. Next event.
Next
I'm gonna
event,
have my
right.
5.8, and I'm not gonna fly it until the race.
Okay.
There it is.
Save it. I'm
All
gonna
right.
save it.
All right.
Just boom. Whoever can climb the highest for a few seconds wins.
And what's going to be your strategy to win this thing?
To beat them. That's simple.
Any secret setup tips?
I
What
can't
you
say.
gonna do?
I will
No.
neither confirm nor deny.
So it's just possible that I might just have 100% throttle and the bank I named kick Steve Yoon's ass.
What?
And it might just have 17.5 degrees of pitch.
But he's scheming over there.
Okay, good.
So I will still accept the challenge. We'll do that and go into an impromptu tandem flight.
Okay, that's perfect.
Should be fun.
Ready? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Vertical drag race. 3, 2, 1, go! Let's go!
Oh, he's gone.
2, 1, and I got it.
Want to do it again?
Yeah, got to. Ooh, that thing is cooking.
He jumped. No, you jumped. Go, right. Go, now take off.
On the word, go.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you got him. Nice. So my question to you is, with the tandem flight, you guys have not communicated we're doing this move, that move, so it has
No, every tandem flight I've done, it's really not planned out.
Let's go, baby.
Oh! Yes, sir.
Yeah, that wasn't even close at all.
That was 3 minutes of just awesomeness. Woohoo! Yeah! Next event. 580.
I'll be ready for you.
That's right, baby. What do you do for a living?
I'm an airline pilot. I fly 737s for a major U.S. airline.
And you can't say which one it is?
I could, but I prefer not to.
Yeah, so it's will not confirm or deny.
There you go.
So I have to literally get on all my flights and go up to the captain to see if you're sitting in the seat or not. Because we literally could have been on the same plane at some point.
I'll let you know where I am sometimes, or you can just ask.
Got you. I'll text you. Are you on this flight? No, that's not me.
That's it.
Got you.
But being an airline pilot, though, it probably makes it easier for you to travel to some of these fun flights, right?
I would say no.
No.
I'm not self-employed.
Okay.
I have to bid for my schedule every month.
Got it.
It's seniority based. I never know what I'm doing until the middle of the previous month,
Right.
if I have the days off or not. So that could be a little difficult. And the way I travel to events, I drive.
Okay.
So I bring a whole bunch of stuff, especially because of the nitro,
Yeah.
and that's not the easiest thing to fly with.
Gotcha.
Oh,
So, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Electric or nitro?
I fly both.
If you had to choose, there's a gun to your head. Mark, you better choose for the rest of your life. What is it?
Sorry, X-Nova, I gotta go nitro.
Gotcha. that's what you started with, man. So
That's the thing. When I started flying, it was all nitro.
Yeah.
There was no electric.
Right.
I'll tell you a quick story. That being said, I jumped on the electric bandwagon right away. The first T-Rex 600 that came out, I had it,
Okay.
like the first batch, and that had the 6L 5000 battery vertical in the front.
Oh, wow.
It was a Thunder Power pack back then. It was over $300. I crashed that heli 3 times, and all 3 times destroyed the battery.
oh no.
That turned me off from electrics back then.
Well, but the initial flight of that electric bird,
Smooth.
the power.
The
How
power
did it
didn't-
compare
the power
to
didn't-
nitro at that point?
back then it was either weaker or comparable.
Okay.
It was not like what we have today,
Okay.
but it was smoother than nitro. I remember the first hover, I was amazed how smooth it was.
How quiet it was.
Yes,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But the technology wasn't there yet. The electrics nowadays are insane.
Yeah.
But just as far as what feels the most comfortable, the most natural, like he asked me, like where my heart is, if I had to fly one thing for the rest of my life, nitro.
Nitro.
I love flying nitro.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Good. Let's wrap.
Mark.
You like my hat?
Yes. All right. So it doesn't stop going. So evidently it's powered by something. Can you show me your electronic situation?
No, it's top secret.
It's top secret?
Top secret.
So you're saying it's the 12S battery pack in there?